Well, I've heard about Volunteer Link Up before, and you're obviously a wonderful organisation. Been going for over 35 years, I think, in West Oxfordshire. You were made for COVID because you've been doing what everyone has sort of started doing for years, finding the volunteers and putting them in touch with the right people. So it must have been very rewarding for you to see so many groups set up.
Volunteer Link Up has been running since 1983, and our reason for being is to link people who have some time to spare with people and organisations that need help. And we started as what we call a good neighbour scheme, essentially what people used to do 50 or 60 years ago without anybody telling them what to do. And so we make sure that the vulnerable people we serve are served by people who have been DBS checked, who are insured, all of those various things that give people and their families a degree of confidence. We then found that people would come to us and say, well, no, I don't really want to do one-to-one things. So we found out what groups were existing in the area and became a volunteer centre for West Oxfordshire. It expanded over time. Normally, we put on a volunteer recruitment fair annually so that local groups can sort of put out their wares and potentially recruit volunteers, but also inform the public of what they're doing and the difference they're making, particularly in West Oxfordshire. Basically show other communities how to do what Volunteer Link Up does as far as recruiting volunteers, finding out if there's a need to begin with, then helping them to recruit volunteers, have all the policies and procedures put in place, then DBS checking the volunteers and getting individual schemes that meet the needs of the local community. Equally, I've been, since the beginning of COVID, involved with the district council, who have been very good at bringing together local organisations, the various charities that serve West Oxfordshire, as well as social services and other statutory sector people, to basically inform each other and keep the communication lines going. We supported pre-COVID good neighbour schemes in Longhanborough and Freeland, particularly recently, and we're helping North Lee at the present time, because and we are promoting the fact that we can help communities formalise what had been originally an informal service during COVID, because people weren't having direct contact with people. There was no money being exchanged, that sort of thing. They were delivering goods or whatever. There wasn't the need for the precise need for the security and so on. So, but now that things have eased up, we're making sure that people sort of form the groups properly, as it were.
And it's wonderful to hear how closely you're working with the local council and church groups, I imagine, and you know, all sorts of groups. Do you have links with individual villages?
We write pieces in village newsletters. Good neighbour schemes, by the very nature of what they are relatively informal. They have a sort of a foundation, and they have all the governance and so on. But we're meeting bespoke needs. West Oxfordshire, particularly, is a growing. The elderly community is growing, as are the number of clients we particularly serve ourselves. We do deal with younger people, people with disabilities, people with mental health issues. We don't limit it.
Have you got other people helping you in the office?
There are 4 of us. We work part-time. Between the 4 of us, we're the equivalent of 2 full-time staff members.
I suspect you're going to get many, many, many more requests actually going into the winter months, as I think we're all realizing this is not going to go away. And with darker days and colder weather, I think your services will be needed even more. Wonderful to know that you are there. If I can lend my High Sheriff's name for this winter to help you, then I would be delighted to do so.
We appreciate all the support we can get. It's they say we're a very small charity, but what we do is such a simple idea. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it.
You obviously have links with OCVA and the other part of Oxfordshire.
Well, the work we do with the Good Neighbour scheme is part of the community information network that Age UK have the contract for, and so we're subcontracted by Age UK to do that work. So yeah, Community First Oxfordshire, we work in partnership with with most of the big players.
If there's some good that's come out of COVID, it is actually the big players all getting together and realizing, and it goes beyond, party politics or anything. It's just humanity, and we all want to get through this and work as a team.
Thank you, Pat. It's always lovely to hear from you, and I know the value of the work you do and how hard you work without necessarily getting the thanks and recognition you probably deserve. So,
oh, bless you. Thanks very much, Adrian.